The Austin market is great right now for both sellers and buyers because we've had a little bit of a shift. Let's talk about it. Let's jump into inventory, sales, and so much more. First, if you take a look at this, you can see what's been happening visually with the inventory for the last 4 years. So if you go to the 2022 mark, you can see that we've had elevated inventory, right? That's obvious. You've heard me say this year after year after year. And you can see all the way up to April and May, we've still had elevated inventory. So that said, we expect this to be continued for the next few years. However, based on what recent history has shown us, perhaps that extreme inventory level isn't going to be as high as it was last year. So maybe slower. The summer is going to be a little bit slower. Time will tell. So let's jump into what had happened last month. Average days in market, 70 days. That's phenomenal, both for buyers and sellers. Why? Because that's telling us that it's taking 70 days on average for a home to sell. And sellers, we've wanted to see some good news come out. This is good news. So instead of taking 3 months, now it's a little bit less, right? Now, new listings are at 5,473, so a little bit above average. We're at 96% for close price to original list price ratio. So, sellers, if you wanted 500,000, you're not going to get it. You're going to get about 96% of that amount. That said, only 21% of all homes each month are selling. So, that's telling us that of the 21% who are winning, they are getting 96% of their original ask price, right? The average list price is at 490,000, closed price is at 429,343. The active listings are at 13,720, which is still elevated. It's just not as high as this time last year, which is phenomenal. Again, a good little shift. And 2,910 sold listings. And that's where we have the 21% of the inventory selling. That means another really great news to share, 4.7 months of inventory. That's phenomenal, right? Sellers, that means buyers have less to choose from than they have any time in history, or at least the last few years. And buyers, you still have an elevated amount of inventory to select from. It's just not as great as it was in the last year. So, jumping in, sellers, again, really great news. We're selling more homes compared to 2024. And this data suggests that buyers are showing more confidence compared to 2024, at least for the spring market. 21% of homes, we already said they're closing. So, it's the best month we've seen in years for the April time period. It's phenomenal. Sellers, you're achieving about 4% less than the list price. That means we're still in a buyer's market. Buyers still have that upper hand. Interest rates, they are higher and they're fluctuating, right? With the war, inflation. I'm very curious on what's going to happen this summer because in just the last few weeks, interest rates hit to about 6.7%. So we jumped in the last few days. If that number continues to be at a heightened level compared to what we've seen in the last few months, we may find that buyers may slow down again because buyers are definitely impacted by interest rates in the overall market. If that happens, we need to have another conversation with sellers and where we're going. But right now, it's a really, really phenomenal time with what we're seeing through the data. So, lastly, out of the homes currently for sale, 21% are going under contract each month. And of those homes, it takes 70 days to find a buyer and then 30 more days to actually close. As a buyer, two things are happening. Buyers are feeling that the good homes are moving very quick, right? And they're competitive, multiple offer situations. While the homes that need work and they're not perfect, they sit much longer. And buyers are getting amazing deals on those type of properties. They're closing for less. These buyers are able to also achieve paid closing costs by the sellers. So as a buyer, if you want to have a great strategy, then you're going to focus on homes that have sat on the market for longer than 45 days. Those sellers are going to really come to reality that their home isn't all amazing as they thought in their head, and they're going to likely reduce the price or negotiate in a really good way for you. Inventory steady. So again, similar to 2024, 2025, it's not as great as it was last year with the amount of inventory, but it's still heightened above 2023. Homes priced competitively are going quickly. I've heard this from buyer after buyer. They're like, hey, that really good home that I like, it went fast. Well, yes, because everybody else wants that too. They don't want the home with all that work that needs to be done, paying a higher price. Do not buy unless you're going to keep this home for 3+ years. Anything less, just rent. Sellers are willing to negotiate depending on which story you're in, right? And luxury properties that are 1 million plus, you're in another strong month at 286 closings. And this is again more than pre-pandemic, so really great sign. And this is the third highest April we've seen in the Austin history market of closing. So it is phenomenal. If you have any questions, you're a past client, a future client, you're just poking around in the market, you're welcome to reach out. We love to answer questions. Until then, we'll see you next month.